Forgiveness. We've all experienced hurt and harm at some point in our lives. We may have been disrespected, lied to, manipulated, or taken for granted. We may have experienced physical or emotional abuse. In the aftermath of such hurtful experiences, we find it difficult, at times close to impossible, to forgive someone who has hurt us. Even when we want to move on, we struggle to find a way to forgive. It's important to look at the dynamics of forgiveness and explore a powerful way to forgive past hurts and move beyond our suffering. Many people ask me, how do I let things go? Well, the key is that, how do I let things go? We're the ones who have to let things go by understanding what we have personalized. What have we held on to? Many times from hurtful experiences, we label ourselves and judge hurtful experiences as damaging us, showing us weakness, naivety, or like being weak and hard on ourselves for not being strong enough. At one time or another, we've all been hurt by a friend, stranger, family member, boss, or colleague in the workplace. We find ourselves stuck replaying these events, ruminating on them over and over and over again, and remain in a state of negativity sometimes for hours, days. They bring up anger, low self-esteem, and by replaying these past hurts after they have happened, we just stay in a state of negativity and hurt and sadness. For many of us, our past hurts can remain very present and continue to stay in our life as long as we hold on to them. Not only have hurtful experiences impacted our lives in devastating ways, they can also continue to play out in our interactions with others. After all, when you're in pain, you spill over onto others. Why do we hold on? We often hold on to past hurts as a way to shield us from experiencing the same hurt again. Many times we feel, history will repeat itself, or that there is a flaw in your character that allows you to get taken for granted or hurt by others. Many times we need to learn from our hurtful experiences and help us move forward. By holding on to past hurts, you just stay stuck in reliving the negative events and feeling as if you've never grown from them. And we really do grow. It's always a moment in time and the moment passes, but as the moment passes, we do evolve and grow from each and every experience. We can remain in a state of anger and negative thought patterns by just choosing to stay there. But failing to authentically forgive another person is not good for our mindset, our moods, and our progress. Many people say, I don't want to forgive them, and that's okay. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you to let go what you processed or have personalized in the experience that was hurtful. Simply put, getting caught up in negative pain and negative experiences can lead to our own demise. So forgiveness is not for them, it's for us to set ourselves free and move forward. Hurt and harm. We go through a lot of pain and hurt caused by people. We often have conflicting ideas about what is right and wrong. And when we're interacting with other people, many times we share a lot of common ground, but we still can have hurtful things happen between us. We may not relate to the way other people see the world, and we can cause each other pain from misunderstandings or different blueprints of how we see the world. Sometimes these things happen out of ignorance. Other times they happen out of our fears and insecurities and not knowing better. Life is a series of experiences, and we tend to judge and label our experiences as good and bad. It is our judgment sometimes that causes us more pain and suffering than actually what is happening. Most people do not intentionally cause us harm. We do like to be liked, and we like to be, a part of a community and have a sense of belonging. But many of us are acting out of our blueprints of not knowing behaviors that are causing other people harm because they're being misinterpreted, or other people don't relate to those behaviors as being as good as a person who's presenting it is. And many times when we're in pain again and not doing well or dealing with our mental health issues, we can spill over onto others. It is important to realize that many of us are acting from a place of our own experiences, our upbringing, our values, and we're acting sometimes in low self-esteem, feeling overwhelmed by life or stressed. With the pandemic, many people are right now not able to take care of themselves. So how are they supposed to take care of you? And so many times when we're in pain, we spill over onto others, not because we intentionally want to harm and hurt people, but because we're not in a good place ourselves. And so when we can't take care of us, we sometimes unintentionally hurt or can't take care of others. Deciding to let go, we all struggle with forgiveness. I believe because we do not fully understand it. Forgiveness is not something we dole out or bestow upon others. It's a process for ourselves. It's about us processing our pain and understanding the hurts that we have internalized, resulting from experiences that we have judged as negative. Life is, again, just a series of experiences. You're the one judging good and bad. And many times our negative experiences also show us how to change and become better, set boundaries, become stronger, or know that people have a dark side or behaviors that maybe we have to be wary of. It is important to look at the story in full. Many people enter our lives innocently, and sometimes things go sour over time. But initially, sometimes these stories that we have with hurts in them were with people that initially we had respect, a good relationship with, or trusted. Start by looking at the story of a past hurt in its entirety. Even with a person who's done you wrong, the story of your relationship is unlikely to be entirely one of hurt and harm. Usually when somebody comes into your life, it's on a neutral or a positive note. A person who has done you wrong may have brought you much good in the beginning, or shown you good things, or you built rapport with them, helped you learn and grow before things turned bad. Remember, other people are mirrors for you. Try to see what the person who has hurt you shown you about yourself or shown you about life. There are many moving pieces at play when others cause us pain. It is important to look deeply into ourselves and see the mirror of a painful experience with another person and what that has shown and taught you, not only about the other person, but what it's shown you about yourself. Hurtful experiences show you areas of growth, show you areas you need to learn, show you skill that you need to develop. A forgiveness letter. Think about your past hurt in full. It's good to write it down, get it outside of you. In a form of a letter, it is useful to sometimes just emotionally vomit and express how you felt. Include in this story the good of how you met this person, how you built rapport, and what you were learning or what you liked about them, as well as the bad actions or behaviors that showed up at one point that caused you hurt. Even if the good in this person brought you greater insight, a lesson, or a new skill, you need to realize that handling the bad was also a skill that was brought in, that they taught you through those hurtful experiences they did other areas of skill and growth. You need to remember all parts, all growth can be from places of good and difficulties. Within a shared story, take accountability of your role. Did you do something? Did you not do something? And realize that in every situation of pain, there's learning and growth and showing you your skill set, what you have and possess, as well as what you need to learn and grow on. You have a choice to release yourself from pain through forgiveness of others, but also forgiveness of yourself for not handling something in the best of your ability, or standing up for yourself or setting boundaries. Rather than personalizing events and experiencing things as if they're a weight that you're carrying, many of us are fearful of repeating things, but we do grow, and you need to recognize the evolution of you from each and every experience. Keep this in mind when you're working on yourself. Release and relief. Conclude this emotional letter of pain and hurts with a statement of closure that forgives the other person so that you can be set free of them, as well as forgives yourself for being hard on yourself. We're all perfect and a work in progress, and we're all learning and we're all growing, and sometimes these hurtful experiences show us pockets of areas that we need to continue to grow in. Acknowledge all that you have learned in life and how you have grown from each and every experience. Recognize that the people that cause you pain have also taught you how to become a stronger, better version of yourself. It's amazing how much we go through We need to forgive ourselves for being hard on ourselves and forgive others for intentional or unintentional hurts. This allows you to move forward and grow in the person that you need to be versus a person you once were. Writing a forgiveness letter is really for yourself to see the story in entirety. Write down the goods of the story, what brought you together, how you felt, how you admired them, and then also write down the hurtful behaviors you started uncovering that made you feel upset, hurt, sad, disappointed. And then write down the lessons that you have learned from this, how to trust someone or set boundaries or move forward, or allow yourself to recognize that sometimes even people that mentor you can be difficult and hurtful and hard on you, and that all of us are perfect and a work in progress, and you humble them from being someone that needs to be perfect to being someone who can actually have behaviors that are hurtful. Moving on in positivity. Forgiveness is choosing to provide you with closure to a hurtful experience that no longer is around. Our past is our past, and we have grown. You have to trust that. And when you're in pain, it's a moment in time and the moment will pass. Choosing to close a chapter of hurtful experiences allows you to take charge of moving on without carrying past hurts. No one deserves to occupy space in your heart and mind and steal your joy unless you choose to allow them to stick around. And we do sometimes choose to allow hurtful people to stick around inside us, even when they're long gone. We need to recognize that suffering, hurts, pains, and sorrows are all catalysts for change. Forgiving those who have hurt us means that we are letting go of the personalization of a negative experience. Life is just a series of experiences, and each of us are doing the best we can with what we know. Recognize that most importantly, forgiveness allows us to move forward in positivity, recognizing a skill set we have grown in, learned, and become. Let's take a mindful moment right now and breathe for a minute and just reflect on forgiveness that you need to do to yourself and others. Acknowledge people that have caused you pain. And are you still holding on to some stories from the past that are long gone? What's the purpose of that? Let's take a deep inhale in and breathe out. Another deep inhale in and breathe out. And let's take this mindful moment as a reflection to see the good and what's going on inside us with the topic of forgiveness. As I gently welcome you back from this mindful moment, when you decide to forgive, understand that forgiveness requires deep, authentic reflection on your part. Reflect on the whole story of your past hurt, as many times we get focused on the negative and forget that there were good parts of this person or good experiences, and sometimes things just go wrong because of misunderstandings, hurtful behaviors, or patterns in people's lives. See your part also in the story, as well as the other person's hurts. In the story, did you learn that you need a skill set to maybe set boundaries, walk away from harm, speak up, or communicate your needs? Take stock of what you have learned, how you will use what you have learned in the future. Write a letter that tells the whole story. Sometimes just getting it off our chests and writing the emotional, hopes, desires, looking forward to something, as well as the disappointments and hurts by someone, shows you the whole picture, but also shows you how you've learned and grown from this experience. What skills did this hurtful experience show you about yourself? What skills came into effect to show you how strong and how much you've evolved, as well as what skills you already possess that you actively put in place, actionable steps that helped you get through and get past this hurt. Many times we don't recognize everything is showing us a side of ourselves. It is important for you to recognize how strong you are, how capable you are, and each and every experience out there is showing you a side of you to shape you to either evolve and be better or to remind you of how far you've come. Recognize that you have evolved.